I'm getting much better at handling this gate one-handed. These live videos are making me rather handy one-handed. Okay, welcome to today's live video. Today I'm going to take you through an entire riding session on Nocona. So we're gonna go out and grab her. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of what's going on in the pasture. And yeah, let's take a little walk. So today I am gonna ask, we're gonna stay on topic today, okay guys? So I'm gonna be doing a lot where I'm not actually looking at the camera. I'm gonna ride and we'll see how it goes. This is the first time trying to do something like this. But what I want you guys to do, if you have any questions, hi Roxanne, thanks for joining. Hello everybody. So if you guys have any questions, what I would love for you to do is after the live is done processing, you can go back and you can leave a comment down below the video. And that really helps me out. I typically don't go back through and watch the videos over again and read all the comments, even though I love doing that. It just takes a lot of time with how long these have been. So yeah, I'm going to show you. We got a beautiful sunny day here today. 2 days without a hat. I'm pretty excited. But check this out. We got so much, I don't know if you guys can see that, but our little river that we've got over here, it's not really a river, it's just water, you know, runoff, but it is going to get so big. Right now it's only about 5 inches wide, but sometimes it gets up to 3 feet wide. So I'm going to show you guys kind of what's going on. Here's Manzer. Good morning. He's all warm. So we're going to go over, I'm going to show you guys, if you were with me yesterday, I showed you the area that Miss Kitty used to want to lay down in. And today you're going to get a really good idea of how it looks because it's full of water. So, well, actually it's really not right now. So, but as it warms up, it's going to fill. You guys see all that water in there? Last night it was really gushing through here, but it did freeze last night, so it slowed it down. But by this evening again, that'll all fill back up and be really gushing out there. So just to give you an idea of the significance of that hole that she was really enjoying laying down in, because there'll be an upcoming video that shows the day that she got stuck in it. Okay, we've got Cinnamon's taking a little snooze over here. And we got Blossom. I want to do one of these riding videos. Hi, honey. I'll do one of these riding videos with all of my horses if you guys are interested in seeing that. And we'll see how it goes, I guess. I've never done this before. So, but I think it'd be fun to show you guys how I work with each of the different horses, whether it be riding them or just simply groundwork. Might be kind of cool. And today I also tried so hard today, guys. I'm having like technology issues. First of all, I've been panicking for the last little bit here trying to figure out what I did with the battery pack that I use to keep my phone charged. I'm looking all over for it just in sheer panic. It's in my pocket, totally in my vest pocket, and I didn't, yeah. So, and also we tried, my husband has earbuds. I think that's AirPods maybe, the little things that go in your ear that you can talk to people through Bluetooth. I don't know, that's all not my thing. I don't know anything about it, but we were thinking that maybe I could wear those while I was riding so I could talk to you guys and explain what I'm doing. And we gave it a shot and it does not work. So total bummer. So I think what I'm going to do is start researching a microphone, because if this video goes good today, I'll start doing these on a really regular basis. So if you guys are interested in that. So just leave a comment down below after the video is processed. Let me know if you want to see that and we'll see what we can do. Okay, so, and then those of you who are watching, like I said, I'm not going to be paying much attention to the chatting that's going on. I'll look at what I can, but so those of you who are watching, if somebody new chimes in, could you guys help out and just kind of keep everybody up to date as to what's going on? That would be really helpful. So, and if anybody out there who is like a techie geek or something could kind of maybe give me a lead on what would be good to get for a microphone for me for riding, that would be super awesome, because I don't even know where to begin for that kind of stuff. So yeah, help me out if you can. A lot of you have really helped me with some other things so far, just helping me get the right stuff, and I appreciate it so much. Okay, we have Nocona, Annabelle, Nellie. So here's the thing. We got all of the, I don't want to say that Annabelle is one of the top horses by any means, because she's really not. But she just happens to get along with the top horses. So, and when I bring Annabelle in one of these days, I'll kind of give you a history on her because it's pretty interesting. But so Nocona is the herd boss. This is the one I'm going to ride today. And then Nellie is second in line. And Annabelle just gets along with them for some reason. So it's kind of interesting how they all eat together. All right, I'm gonna set this down and I'm gonna put Nocona's halter on. Some of you have asked how to do up a rope halter. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or hear me. I'll try to explain. So I'm gonna set my phone down in the horse poop. Yuck. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I make sure that my halter is organized, okay? I don't want to, and I do this before I get to my horse. Today is a little different because I've got a lot going on, but so I want to make sure that my lead rope is looped over my left arm. See, my horse is already leaving. She's like, "What are you doing?" So I make sure that my lead rope is looped over my left arm along with my rope halter in my left hand. I don't make it so anything is wrapped around me. I'm going to walk up to her on her left side, and I always halter my horse like this. Oh, Annabelle, don't. No. So, all right. We'll skip the how to tie the knot today, and I'll do that a different day. But you get the idea. So that's how I approach my horse when I go to catch them. Hi, Clover. I'm not picking you up because you're full of horse poop on your feet. Not gonna hold you today. Not right now. Yeah. All right, and I'm gonna take you guys up to see Miss Kitty too. She's in the arena. All right. So I have good news. Miss Kitty, I did not have to give her any meds yesterday, and she spent last night again in the arena with Rosie, and she did good all night. I was out pretty late checking on her. Actually, I was on my horse. I got off my horse at like 1:30 this morning. So I had too much caffeine yesterday, way too many cups of tea yesterday, and too late in the afternoon. And so yeah, I was wide awake. So I figured, you know what? I'm gonna take this opportunity and I'm gonna go ride my horse. So that's what I was doing. Kitty, you gotta move. That's what I was doing till wee hours of the morning. And then I went in and I went to bed, and the puppy has been sleeping very, very good throughout the night. And last night, of course, like a half hour after I crawled into bed, she started crying in her kennel. So I'm like, of course, the one night that I don't go to bed till super late, the puppy decides she can't sleep. So, but luckily she did go to sleep. So it was all good. All right, so let's head up to the arena. I got my horse. My cat's walking next to me. Clover's always got to come with. She's the barn mascot. So you guys just bear with me if this gets, if the coverage gets kind of shaky. I'm really sorry. I apologize for that, and I'm working on getting better equipment so I can bring you guys better quality videos. I'm really enjoying these live videos for a couple of reasons. For one, I can get a lot of like daily type, like regular things that I do. I can get that out to you pretty easily, and it's really hard. When I go to make a video, I'm kind of a perfectionist about stuff, and I put too much into doing certain things. Like, I'm too putsy with my editing, so it takes me a really long time. I gotta shut this door. So, not spending this time on editing videos has been super helpful because I'm able to get stuff to you without it taking me forever to get it to you. Sorry, Nocona. Anybody? Anybody? Can you hear me? Okay, great. I'm glad you can hear me. So I'm going to tie up Nocona. Maybe I'll show you this halter knot real quick since I'm right here. Okay, I'm going to turn. Oh, Nocona is so dirty today too. Bummer. I got all kinds of brushing to do. That stinks. I always like, there are days, I'm not going to lie, there's days where I go out and I'm like, okay, I'm going to ride the cleanest horse today because I don't have a lot of time or something. So I just pick whoever is closest and cleanest. And that's kind of how I roll. I'm going to scooch her over so I can show you guys this. Now, I'll get a good video, one that I edit, about doing this, but this will be a good, just real quick, show you how, because a lot of people were asking about it the other day. So, when I put my halter on, I make sure I come down through that little loop there, so it's sticking out like this. I always take these 3 fingers, okay, and I put one here, one there, and sort of pinch that. I know that's hard to see, but can you guys see that? Okay, I got it pinched and it's up tight. Remember, you don't want your halter hanging off your horse's face, just like you don't want your pants hanging off your butt. Now, I'm going to come under and bring it towards her eye, like that. And then this goes back through here, like that. Do not stick your fingers in this hole. That's how you lose them. And then when you pull it tight, it should look like that, okay? That is how to correctly tie a rope halter. I see it a lot of times where it's tied upside down, and just so you know, it will come loose if it's not tied properly. So it's really important to make sure that your rope halters are tied properly. Yep. Becky, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Becky, you are officially, for one, the first super chat of today, but oh my gosh, the amount, 50 bucks. Becky just super chatted 50 bucks, you guys, that's awesome. And I'll go ahead and tell you real quick that every penny that gets super chatted to me immediately goes toward getting new video equipment. Thank you, Becky, I really appreciate that. So let me tell you, so not only do I want to try to get a microphone, okay, I got to get that figured out, but also there's this camera, it's called Pixio, I believe, and it's super cool because you put it on a tripod wherever, and you wear this little sensor. $12, thank you, Marie, that's awesome. But you wear this little sensor and it follows you and it auto zooms in and all kinds of stuff, and you can use it, I think, up to 350 feet away. So that's pretty awesome. So that is on my radar as soon as possible. I'm gonna get that because if I can do more of these riding type, you know, videos, I would love to do that. And I guess it's a really good quality camera too from what I've seen. So Nocona's smelling my hair. So anyway, that's what I'm doing with it, guys. So I really appreciate y'all helping me out. That's fantastic. All right, I'm gonna tie Nocona up. You know, this is a really good thing for me to show you too. I do 2 different ways, 2 different primary ways, well, 3 primary ways of tying a horse. I use a quick release if I'm in a horse trailer and I'm tying from the outside, I'll use a quick release. And that's pretty much the only time I use a quick release, because in the trailer, I typically don't have issues with them pulling back while they're tied and getting that rope, the knot to the rope tight. So that's really the only time I use it, and it's an easy knot to tie from the outside of a stock trailer. Method number 2 is a bowline knot. Bowline knot is my absolute favorite way to tie a horse. They can't get it undone, and the rope will not tighten upon itself. So if you've ever dealt with horses who pull back while tied and they get that knot super tight and you have to cut your lead rope, you know, the lead ropes that I use, they're like 30 bucks, so they're really good quality, and the last thing I want to do is be cutting them. So I want to tie my horses with a knot that's not going to tighten on itself. So the bowline knot is super awesome. But today I'm going to use a blocker tie ring. Now, I love these in some situations, dislike them in other situations, and I think that they need to be used in certain situations only, okay? So there are horses who I have seen really get used to like pulling on them. So I'll show you the only way that I'll use them. But the reason I started using them is because I have a ton of kids in my barn, and it's really hard for them to learn how to tie a bowline knot. I mean, you're dealing with like 6, 7-year-old kids who are, you know, still struggling with tying their shoes. Very, very hard for them to learn a bowline knot at that age. And it's, you know, it's safer for them to use these, and it's really quick for us to get them tied up and untied. So that's why I started using them, but they're just really quick and easy. And in this situation right now, I just want to tie my horse real quick and, you know, get on and ride. I don't want to fart around too much with tying a knot. So I'm going to show you how I use it. And bear with me here. Try to, okay, let's see. I'm going to make sure that I can see. If you guys could only see me and how I'm holding this right now. Okay, so, and I only use the stainless steel ones because the nickel plated ones are garbage. They peel right away. So I make a loop in my rope about 1.5 feet from my horse's face. It is very important that your horse not be tied too long. They can get their head stuck underneath the lead rope and cause major, major issues. So, and they can also, if they can reach the ground while they're tied, they can also get a leg caught over their rope, head stuck underneath the rope. There's a plethora of things that can happen. And I can tell you that I've pretty much seen it all. So I recommend tying a horse short. I do have a hay bag right here. This is a Hay Chicks free up feeder that I have attached to the wall, and I love them. So I'm going to take this loop and I put it through the hole, and I'm going to flip this pin up the back. There's a little magnet right there, okay? So with that, this slides through really easy. I hope you guys can see because horses learn to pull on that, okay? So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take this and I loop it behind, and now that makes it so it's pretty hard on there. It takes a bit for me to even pull it. So that's how I like. I'm going to take my tail of my rope and tuck it up through here just so it's not dragging on the ground. Now, you wouldn't want to daisy chain your rope or anything here because that kind of defeats the purpose of this, which is if this horse should decide that she's going to get really scared and pull back. So say some snow falls off the roof. This horse has pulled back. This wall here, actually, this is a relatively new wall, and it's because Nocona pulled the whole wall down and took off with it. So it's, to me, I mean, I've dealt with a lot of horses who pull back really bad. So with this situation, if she should get scared and go to pull back, when she puts her 1,000 pounds against this rope, it is going to slide through a little, but it's not going to get to the point where she can just pull it all free. So it'll allow her to get a little bit away from the scary object, which is the snow falling off the roof or whatever it is that could be scaring her. But she won't actually get a release until she gives again to the pressure. So she's like, oh my gosh, the scary snow is falling off the roof. And it's not on the roof, it's just the snowbank that's against the building. Little crumbles of snow are falling against the building. So that's what's going on. I actually have her tied a little bit longer than I would like, but I was doing this one-handed, so it got a little tricky. So I would tighten that up like maybe 3 inches. So, but this way she can reach the hay, she can move around, but she's not going to be getting herself in a dangerous position. So, okay. And of course, the first thing a horse has to do when you bring him in and tie him is poop. All right, and I've got horses. Miss Kitty and Rosie are in the arena. I will show you Miss Kitty in a moment. And let's see here. I want you guys to be able to see what I got going on here. All right, I'm gonna get covered in horse poop, so I wear my gloves when I ride, when I brush my horses a lot of times. Depends on the day. So I'll give her a quick brush over. I'm not big on, my horse does not need to be sparkling clean when I ride by any means. I had a friend, he's a cowboy, and like that's his official title is he's a cowboy. And he said to me, he's like, you know, that hair will automatically come off. They roll around and stuff to get rid of that. You realize that, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I like to brush my horse, you know, to an extent. And it feels good to them. So I get it. He uses his horses for an actual job and needs to be as quick as possible. So it's just kind of the difference. I can brush my horse, so I do. But I don't make sure that they're like I'm not gonna fuss around with making sure her legs are perfectly clean. I just want to get on and ride, and I don't want you guys to have to sit here and watch me brush my horse all day. So I get the essential areas, which are going to be where I put my bareback pads. I'm gonna ride with the pad today, no saddle, and I'm gonna ride her in a halter. I gave her a really good brushing last night and got like 18 pounds of hair off of her. Some horses don't like to be brushed too hard. This horse does enjoy it. She likes when you press on her, where some horses this will be way too hard. I don't do the lower legs with a shedding blade. This is called a shedding blade. Just kind of takes the hair off. I'm going to scooch her over. You there? Move over better. There. So when you ride horses for a living, though, if you spend, because I know a lot of people who will spend hours fussing around and grooming their horse, and that's what they like to do, and that's fine. But when you ride horses for a living and you have 5 or 6 that you have to ride in a day, you don't have time for that. And you really have to prioritize. You know, for me, it's more important for me to work with my horse than it is to groom them. So grooming's good, but I don't overdo it. So like all this yucky, wet, poopy stuff she's got going on here, because she was clearly laying down, I'm not going to mess around with that too much. Okay, that's as good as I'm going to get with that brush. I'm going to move on to a bristle type brush. This just gets off the loose hair and dirt. All of my horses have their own brush buckets. And the reason I do this is if there's a horse that has any kind of a skin issue or lice or anything that could be contagious between horses, I want to make sure that we don't spread that through our grooming tools. And if they do have anything, like rain rot, whatever, if they do have anything like that on their body, we're more than likely going to find it through the grooming process. So they have all their own brushes, but I do share tack between my horses. All right, I'm going to do her feet. With that. I'm pretty fussy about how I do my horse's feet. I always start at the left front, my hand on the leg and squeeze that little chestnut that they've got right here. Here. I do all of my own trimming. Well, I do have a friend that helps me with the horses that I feel like, you know, I need some assistance with. But I want to be able to just come back and like touch my horse's leg and have them pick it up. I don't want to have to, you know, fuss around too much. Now, I will pick my horse's feet before a ride in my arena, but I don't pick them after a ride because I see no point to it. See how she's pulling on me right there? I'm gonna hold and wait until she softens, and then I'll set her foot down. So I wait, there, that was nice. And I don't wanna drop the feet. Come around to this side, make it very routine. See how she's ready for that right away? Barely have to do a thing to get her to pick it up. I see people trying to pry their horse's feet off the ground all the time, and it's like, that's not gonna work. I just got poop down inside my glove. She has a nice, big, thick, healthy frog, very plump. Girl. Okay, now that I'm sweating, now I just saw somebody said something about horse lice. It's actually way more common than you would think. And being a person who takes horses for training, I've dealt with a lot of lice with horses. Ona actually had lice when I got her from North Dakota. You know, with her, it's like she was living out on massive, massive amounts of pasture and basically making friends with the antelope. So, I mean, it just happens. So, couple questions that I'm gonna answer that I saw real quick is, no, my horses don't have shoes. I do all of my own trimming and have for, what am I going on, 12 years of trimming. And it's, the reason I started doing it is because I saved myself a bunch of money. Roughly, I think at that time it was like $5,000 a year that I saved myself by trimming my own horses. And it was something that I really wanted to learn how to do, because if my horses are having an issue with their feet, I wanna make sure that I want to be able to fix it. I don't want to have to wait for my farrier to come out. So it was very realistic for me to try to do it myself. So another thing that somebody just asked me about Nocona is if I would ever consider breeding her, and yes, I would love to. And the horse that I would like to, or a horse that I think would make an excellent cross with her is a Friesian. I think that I would get a pretty neat Appaloosa sport horse out of that, and I think that she has plenty of traits that are worth passing. Okay, so now I'm going to throw on her pad. Now, as you notice, I didn't do her mane and tail. I see no reason to brush her mane and tail, and it's just a lot of extra work, and it pulls their hair out, and so I don't see a reason to. So, you know, I'll go through their manes and make sure that they're all nice and detangled now and again, but I don't think it's necessary for this. I don't think you guys really care how spiffy my horse looks today for this. All right, let's get on to throwing the pad on her. Cat is currently on my pad, so let me pull her off. Hey, you cannot be on there. Okay. This is, I use Best Friend Bareback Pads. These are my absolute favorite. Kitty. The Best Friend Bareback Pads, you can see right there. And they come in a couple of different styles. Some of them, they're considered an English version and a Western version, which I think is the dumbest thing ever. My horse is pooping again. Because the only difference is the Western one is square and the English one is rounded. I have both, and I actually like this one better. For one, it has pockets on it on both sides, and it also has a cushy seat. So this just has an extra little cushion on it, which I really like. But besides that, there's no difference between the two. And it comes with a water bottle right here, which I highly discourage people from riding with a water bottle attached to a bareback pad. I don't think that that's necessarily wise, but I'm going to tell you a really quick story about that because I think you'll find it pretty funny. This was the only time that Nika has ever bucked me off, ever, or even attempted to buck while I was riding her, okay? So my husband and I had just gotten married, and I was basically forbidden to ride for, I don't know, a month prior to our wedding because I'm a very accident-prone individual. So for you guys to see me ride live, you get a good chance of getting a show at some point because I only fall off in front of an audience. That's just how I roll. And I could be out here riding by myself and have the craziest ride going on and recover from it, and nobody will be here to see it. Like, I can have a really, oh my gosh, I can't believe I stayed on that buck or that rear or that spook, or my horse just tripped and almost, somersaulted on us and I survived it. No, nobody will see any of that. If I have a massive crowd, guaranteed to fall off. Happens every time. So I'm putting myself out there for you guys, and since I am out here alone, if I do fall off, somebody just... Anyway, so I was forbidden to ride, and we got married in 2003, so that would have made Nika 3 years old. And we had started her that spring. Jason is the one that started her. And she was really good about everything. So easy to start, and that's something I really loved. I really loved about her that she was so smart and level-headed, very easy to start. So, I'm sorry that it's not working. I'll stop moving, okay? Here, you guys tell me if that's good. Is that good? Has it gotten better? Okay, I'm gonna continue on because I think now that I'm not moving, it'll probably work. So, anyway, I go out on a trail ride the week after we got married, and I was out with a crew of 8 or 9 people. We even had a foreign exchange student from Germany with us, all kinds of people. And I was kind of bored because we were all just walking and it was horrendously boring to me. And so I had my feet out of the stirrups and I was just kind of not really paying attention. And I had a water bottle clipped onto a ring on the back of my saddle. And it was a little case with just a regular store-bought water bottle inside. And so I'm just cruising along and all of a sudden Nika exploded. I mean, no warning whatsoever. I had her on loose rein. We were just moseying. Like I said, feet out of the stirrups. I'm not paying attention. And I'm on a 3-year-old horse. So this horse starts, oh my gosh, honking and snorting and bucking and just right unglued completely. And I think I managed 3 bucks and I flew off. Thank you, Lottie. Hi, how are you today? I flew off this horse and landed on my hands and my knees, and I scrambled off into the trees, and I turn around and I watch, and she is that is an athletic horse. Let me tell you, till this day, I do not want her to buck while I'm on her, ever, because that horse can buck. So, as I'm watching her, usually, a horse dumps you off and then they kind of stop bucking because their goal was to get rid of you. That was not the case here. She wasn't trying to get rid of me. I think she got stung by something and it scared her because there was nothing that spooked any of the horses, nothing. And I'm watching her buck and there's water spraying everywhere. And it's my water bottle that was attached to the back of the saddle. And the cat must have come loose but the water just sprayed and sprayed and sprayed. And the more it sprayed, the more she bucked. And then all of a sudden the water bottle was empty and she just stopped. And she kind of looked around like, what the heck just happened? So it's funny because I tell the kids that all the time, and you know, I'm like, you gotta really think about stuff. Sure, having a water bottle with you for a trail ride is really not a big deal, but if your horse happens to come unglued for some reason, think about all that stuff that's attached to your saddle and how it's gonna affect your horse. And I can guarantee you, her being 3 years old and me being at the level that I was at, I did not prepare her for a whole heck of a lot at that time in my life, okay? So that was 17 years ago. But anyway, I thought you'd enjoy that story. So consider not using the water bottle that comes with the pad. Maybe don't ride with it. Okay, I'm gonna get this done up real quick, and then we're gonna take her out in the arena and ride. All right. So, something that I love about these pads is that they're very comfortable to ride on. And it's nice because I think it allows a little cushion for your own bottom, but you're also your horse's back. Now, I ride my horses regularly without anything on them, and I don't see an issue with that. Some people say that it's not kind to the horse to ride bareback, and I disagree. My horses tell me when they're comfortable and not comfortable, and I don't think they mind either way. So, I got the cat grabbing me here. So, with that being said, with these bareback pads, something that I don't like about them, and I need to actually contact the company and see if maybe they'll consider making a redesign that maybe I could market for them, I don't know, but it's got like the tacky background. Are you guys familiar with that? Here, I'll show you. So it might get choppy, but I'll put it right back down and then I'll talk. So I'll show you first. Can you see how it's like that waffle weave kind of tacky? Okay, so I don't like, so we'll see if it goes back to normal now. I don't like that kind of underside for a pad, and particularly a saddle pad, like with Kitty. Ugh. With the bareback pad, I don't think it's as big of a deal because you're not putting like a 40-pound saddle on top of it plus your body weight. It's really just your, ouch, it's really just your seat that's putting any pressure. So my horse doesn't seem to mind it, and so I'm okay with it, but I would really love like a wool underside on that. I think that would be ideal. And so with this, the cinch or girth, whatever you want to call it, cinch is more of a Western term. Girth is a, oh, no teeth, please. Girth is more of an English term. And so it really doesn't matter which way you say it. But the cinch is the same way on it. And I think, again, if you could just use a regular mohair type cinch on there, that would be ideal. But I don't like anything that is neoprene on my horses. So they make, you know, neoprene Western cinches and English cinches, girths. And I don't really love them very much. So with jumping, I guess I prefer them more over some of the other ones that I have because there's no slip to them. But I've run into more cinchy issues with horses using neoprene cinches and girths because they really don't, the horses don't appreciate them very much. I think they pull their hair when you're doing them up. So I always make it a point, hi Susie, thanks for joining. I always make it a point to do the cinch or girth up very slowly and gently. I see a lot of mistakes being made with people and their horses because they tighten it up too fast, and that's how you create a cinchy horse, or a horse that's just not really looking forward to that being done. So I do it up really slow. So I will tighten it back up a little bit before I get on, and really it's really not a big deal if it's loose anyway. It's just a bareback pad. I'm not concerned about it. So a good, you know, a rider who is balanced should be able to ride in a saddle with a slightly loose cinch without it being much of an issue unless you're, you know, going up hills, down hills, jumping, doing something of that extent. So, all right. let's get a hold of Nocona. I'm gonna show you Miss Kitty. This cat's having a good time. My cats miss all of my barn people so bad. These cats they're so needy, and it's like they just love everybody, and they just aren't getting nearly enough attention, clearly. So I try to come out here and hang out with my cats as much as I can because they miss people. Okay, and not like I have 4 cats, and for the most part they're all pretty needy. Like, it's pretty bad. All right, so I'm gonna, okay, get down. All right, so fix my hair and try to get my stuff organized here so the cat doesn't get into everything while I'm doing my stuff. I gotta get organized here, guys. Okay, gotta make sure that I plug in my phone today so it doesn't die while we're in the middle. All right, I'm gonna move, so just know that we might have some breakup. Don't worry, I'll set it down in a few minutes though, so just bear with me. Nice thing about this blocker as well is you can untie it with one hand. And it's really easy for kids to tie and untie. Hey John, how you doing? Thanks for that nice comment earlier, by the way, on Ross Jacobs' channel. That was awesome. Rosie. Miss Kitty's gonna go right in that stall, I bet. She likes to go in there. I'll show you guys what's in there. Okay, so there's nothing in here that I'm worried about her getting hurt on, okay? I wouldn't let every horse do this. Miss Kitty is special because she's a senior citizen and she can do whatever the heck she wants. Okay, so she's hanging out in here because there's a bunch of hay. So this is the stall that we throw extra hay bales in so we can fill all the feeders and stuff. And it's just got some like, oh, first warning that my battery is going low. It's got like some blankets and there's some totes and just random like stuff like shavings, a mini trampoline. I actually use that to teach lessons. So comment below if you'd like to see how I help people become better riders by using a mini trampoline. Okay, so I'm gonna let her hang out and eat in there. Sometimes she lays down in there because it's really soft, I think, and she can just do whatever she wants. Okay, let's go get all set up in the arena. I'll try to find a perfect spot. I really wanted to drag it in here today, but just wasn't an option. Too much to do. Okay, so it might be a little dusty too because I need to water. All right, I think this is going to be our best option for where to go. Okay, guys? I think you'll be able to see most of the arena from there for the most part. There's going to be some spots that you can't see. Good connection? Great. Maybe I can put up here even. Ooh, that might be better. Wait, that's not going to work. Oh, maybe. Oh, look at that. Is it going to work? Can I make it work? See, I'll get good at this, guys, I promise. Oh, look at that. All right, cool. And then I can show you right here how I get on and stuff too. But I need to be able to put my charger on. And let's just hope that the cats, because they love to meander around on this ledge. I've got you on the ledge where my mirrors are. The cats love to be on it. So hopefully the little suckers don't come up here and go messing with my gear. But see, my plan is I've got a spot in the corner here that I think I can eventually like mount a camera too. That I think would be super cool if I could make that work out. All right, so many ideas. So many ideas, so little time. Okay, so I'm going to show you how, a lot of people ask me this, how do I turn my, lead rope into reins, okay? So I simply just use the halter and lead rope, and somebody asked about a helmet. I'm going to talk about that in a minute too. I do wear helmets sometimes. I don't wear them all the time though, and I actually don't have it out here with me. I'm not going to wear a helmet today, and so I know some people are very, very set on them, and I totally get that. I totally get that. My kids, every kid that rides my barn, anyone under the age of 18 is required at all times to wear a helmet. Woo! Because you never know when something scary is going to happen. But I don't always wear them. I typically don't wear them most of the winter because I'm not riding young horses, but I have a hat on underneath, and it gets uncomfortable for me. And so no excuses. I just don't always wear one. I grew up not wearing one. It's not a thing that I always think of, but a lot of times I do. So don't judge me. Everybody's got their own thing that they do and don't do. A lot of people ride motorcycles without them, and I can't even understand that. That doesn't make any sense to me. But so anyway, guys, so no judgment. We're not talking about helmets right now. Just know that sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I understand this horse could trip, fall, roll over on me, and I could die in an instant. I get that, and it's a risk that I'm taking. So, but if you're under the age of 18, you must wear a helmet at all times because you don't pay for your own insurance. And you're not old enough and wise enough yet to have fallen enough times to understand what's important, what's not. Okay, so I'm just simply going to undo my knot. The knot that I use to tie my lead rope with is exactly the same as the knot that I tie my halter with, okay? So I'm gonna just sort of scooch this. See, I never even have to take it off. I just scooch it down. I just keep scooching. Now, I'm also going to tell you that while I'm doing this, Nocona, I haven't ridden her in a month. Over a month, actually, until last night. I rode her last night, just briefly. And I want to talk about that just for a moment because I had a conversation with somebody yesterday and it kind of sparked this for me. It's important to understand where your horse is at mentally and physically when you ride. So it's a good idea to check your horse out and make sure that they are with you, okay? And you don't want them to have so much energy that they don't know how to kind of tune in and pay attention to what's going on. So last night, since I hadn't ridden her in a month, I made it a point to do some groundwork with her because it was very important. Because I needed to make sure that she wasn't going to be goofy, you know, and like I said, I was out here riding at 1 o'clock in the morning, so, I mean, nobody would have found me until this morning. So I need to make sure that my horse is in a good mental place. I'm not just going to hop on her if I think she's going to be a goofball. Now, today, and I just did a little bit, and that'll be a different video that I'll show you. I'll get you guys introduced to all my different types of groundwork and such that I do, because I feel like it's super important. But anyway, I feel like if you miss steps, you're gonna end up with your horse being a little hotter than you'd like them to be. Okay? Now I'm gonna show you how I get on from right here. So now you guys just keep in mind that I can't see any of your comments at all, so you can talk amongst yourselves, but I won't see any of the comments that you leave now the whole time that I'm riding. Okay, I am going to tighten up my pad. And I'm going to do it very mindfully. I don't want my horse to not enjoy this whole process. So the last thing I want to do is go and reef or cinch up. So I'm just going to pull it up a little bit. It really only needs to go up one hole, it looks. So that's just fine. All right, now when I ride, I typically do a 10-minute warm-up with continuous walking. I feel like that is the best thing for the horse because the fluid in their joints needs time to get working. And it's kind of thick when you first start out. But the more your horse moves, the more that joint fluid moves more freely, okay? So it helps prevent injuries with your horse if you do give them a good warm-up. If you just hop on your horse and take off, you're more likely to see an injury than you are if you give them a nice good warm-up. So kind of like me, when I jump on the treadmill, I don't want to just take off right away because my body needs some time to warm up, okay? So 10-minute warm-up is my typical go-to, and then I do my ride, and then I do about a 10-minute cool down. And I actually have all this posted on a dry erase board in my arena as a reminder to all of my students and my boarders and those who lease, because I don't want anybody's horse getting injured. All right, I'm gonna climb up on this stool, and I apologize because my backside's gonna be to you, but no, I suppose I can unroll my pants now. I have to roll up my pants when I walk out into the pasture because I'm so short, my pants all drag. Okay, oh, thank you so much. I see that, Forrest. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. So, and anybody who super chats now for a little while, I won't be able to see it while it's coming up, but I most certainly can see it on my computer, and I will make sure to give you a big thanks for that. Okay, so, as you can see, my horse is facing me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask her to step her bum over towards me so I can get on. All right? So I'm going to just lift up on my rope a little bit. Nocona is one that has really sticky feet. She can be a little bit on the bracy side. Right there, she gave me a little softness, so I released. Okay? You see her hip come over towards me? Now I'm going to go ahead and do it again. Oh, look at that. That was so nice. But Nocona she's my one that I said will pull back when tied, or has. I think I pretty much got that problem fixed in her. But it was pretty severe for a very long time. So she's very bracy. So it's not the tying that's an issue for her. It's the fact that she doesn't give pressure. So I have a lot of issues with things like this, just simply getting her to give to the lead rope so I can bring her forward. Really important stuff, okay? So you gotta, there's the symptom and then there's the disease. You don't want to treat the symptom, you need to treat the disease, and then the symptoms go away, okay? So pulling back while tied is a symptom to the disease that the horse is bracy, okay? And if you want to know more on that stuff, let me know, because maybe I'll make a video about that. All right, so I'm going to be particular here. I want her to be perfectly lined up so I can get on her. So I'm going to bring her forward just a little, and again, I wait until she gives me what I'm looking for. And I don't think it gets any more perfect than that. I can literally just step my leg over and hop on my girl. Now, something that I like to do when I get on my horses is I'll take this opportunity, and usually like last night I was emailing people, so any of you who want to share your story with me, feel free to send me an email. I'd love to read it and know a little bit more about you. But so last night, that's what I was doing. So I don't know if Missy is watching right now, but Missy emailed me last night, and I was so excited, but I was emailing her from my horse. But I think it's really good for a horse to know that when you get on them, that they're to just stand and just chill out. Because how many of you seriously have gone to get on your horse and they try to walk off on you? It's horrendously annoying and it's dangerous. So it's something that is really important to me, that they just sit still and be patient and wait for you to ask them to walk off. I do the exact same thing at the end of a ride. I make sure that my horse is standing quiet. Same thing, I'll pull out my phone. I send some text messages, whatever, but I take my time. Now, as you can see with my reins, I do have 2 split reins. And when I ask my horse to walk off, I'm gonna add some quality to it, okay? I'm gonna ask her to walk off with her right front foot. I'm not just gonna randomly walk my horse. I'm not just gonna let her meander off. I always have a plan. So today I am going to ride with a dressage whip, simply because when I was riding this horse last night, She was leaning on my leg a little bit, and all I needed to do was take my dressage whip and give her a little tickle with it to let her know, yes, I need you to move your butt over, please. And then she would respond really lovely. But if I don't use a dressage whip when I ride today, I feel like I will be creating more dullness in my horse than I had. Okay, so the goal is to make your horse better with every ride. So I will make sure to ride with a whip today. She had a whole month off. Last night was her first ride in over a month. And so for the next few rides, it probably will need to ride with it just to make sure that I'm getting my cues across. Okay, so I'm gonna go over and get that, and then I'm gonna start my warm up. So I won't be talking at all, so it might be kind of boring for you guys. I apologize, but I'll be back in a few minutes. So here we go with the right front foot is going to lead. Now, let me add too that I'm going to be using this dressage whip in my inside hand. And when I say inside, it's the center of the circle. That way I can get the horse to move off my inside leg. When you're traveling on a horse around in an arena, your inside leg is the one that you're probably going to be using the most. So that's why we typically carry it on the inside. And also you'll see me, I'll be pointing my toes down to the ground sometimes. I do that to lengthen my leg from the hip down. Because when I got my heels down, I kind of crunch up my legs a little bit. So it helps me elongate my legs, and it's a really nice stretch, okay? So you'll see me kind of change my legs around quite a bit as I'm riding. All right, I'll see you in a little bit. Just working on some circles, making sure that everything is nice and aligned. walking around here, I'm doing a lot of, get back over there. I'm doing a lot of suppling this horse, okay? So as I'm walking her, I'm not meandering around. Every single step my horse takes, I'm paying close attention to what they're doing. So I want to keep everything in balance from her poll to her withers to her tail. Everything stays in balance. She likes to lean on me with her belly. She'll like push her belly into me, particularly on the left side. And so I'm constantly trying to keep things lined up. So not only does this prevent injury in her by keeping her balance, but it makes it so she can go on to do a little bit more advanced maneuvers. I'm going to bring her up into a trot and just kind of do just my normal routine, okay guys? So I'll do a little bit of a posting trot as well. So you're going to see me do a sitting trot where I just sit in place. And then you'll see me do a little bit of a posting trot. Now I'll explain that just briefly. A post is when you come up and down off the horse's back, okay? And so I'm going to do it without stirrups, of course, but so usually you'll, if you got your feet in your stirrups, there'll be pressure applied to your stirrups, and you use your legs and the momentum of the horse to get you to rise up. And rise and fall with the leg on the wall. So you'll notice as her outside leg, so traveling in a circle, the outside would be the leg that's closest to the wall. As the outside leg is going forward, that's when I will be coming up off of her back, okay? And it's, that's called a diagonal. I'll be on the right diagonal when she's traveling to the left, and the left diagonal when she's traveling to the right, okay? So kind of watch out for that, and then before I start cantering, I'll be back over to explain some things to watch for in the canter, okay? So that was enough trotting just to get her really good and warmed up. She's super out of shape right now, so I don't want to overdo my ride. I want to keep it really simple for her since she's just now getting back into work. And so that's about my extent of my trotting for today. Maybe a little bit in my cool down, but now I'm going to work on a few things at her canter, and then I'll do some turnarounds. What I mean by a turnaround is I'm going to take her and get her to pivot on her outside hind leg. And you'll see that when I do them. And basically it's pretty cool because it makes like a dot with her foot. Her outside hind leg will make a dot, and then her other hind leg will make like a pentagon shape around it. It's super cool. And so anyway, I'll do a few of those you'll see at some point. And yeah, so I'm gonna go canter around, and this is where you'll watch for her to be on the correct lead. I don't think I'll pick up a counter canter today. I think I'll just stick to just regular cantering, just since she is so out of shape. Who knows, maybe she'll feel good and I'll want to do it. But in Nocona's playlist, I have a video of me riding her a couple of months ago, and I explain the canter in full detail. So that's a really good video to go back and watch if you want to learn a little bit more about the canter. And since I won't be talking through any of this, I'll be focused on my ride. So, all right, I'm going to go and ride around a little bit. Again, I make sure to ask her to walk off with some quality. huffing and puffing already from just that much work. So that's all canter work that I'm going to ask her to do today, because I don't want to overdo it. It's really warm out. It's, you know, 50 some degrees right now, and they all still have their winter coats. So asking her to do a whole lot right now just really wouldn't be in her best interest, okay? I want to make sure that, you know, I don't want to push her too hard. So I want to make sure to do a little bit. So that's all of the canter work that I'll do today. So now I'm going to focus on my cool down, and this is where you're going to see her do some turnarounds and some turn on the haunch and that kind of stuff. I mean, a turnaround and a turn on the haunch is the same thing. But then there's a turn on the forehand, and I'll do a couple other little things that you can watch too. So. So watch her right hind leg. If I think about it, I'll show you guys the pattern that makes afterwards. Now you'll watch the left hind leg. I want her to move over a little bit first. The left hind leg. See how it's staying put? Good. She tried a lot harder on that side. Now I'll do a turn on the forehand. I'll ask the hind end to move over. I can ask for some side passing. This is one of my favorite exercises. I call it the box exercise, where I have her step one way, I hesitate, I back her up a little bit, and now I'm going to have her step the other way. I want front and hind working together, like that. Now I'm going to back her up a little bit. But do you see how I'm making a box when I do this? Front and hind working together. I try not to overdo any of these things. I just want to touch on a little bit of it each day. For each ride, just a little bit. Now I'm going to play around with her feet a little. And I think I'm going to move, well, you guys should be able to see it right there. But watch her right hind leg. No, I'm going to move the camera. I think it'll be way better if you can see. A little closer. See if I can do this from on my horse or if I'm going to biff it. Oh. See, lazy people make good horse trainers, because instead of me getting down to do all this, I just maneuver my horse. Sorry if I'm making anybody seasick. Okay. All right, this way you'll be able to see my horse's legs good. All right. Now, watch her. She's distracted. Here comes Rosie. Watch her right hind leg. I'll try to get her to step her right hind leg over. We'll see if we get it or not. Nope, she's going to move the wrong one. I want the right hind. Nope. I'd like the right hind, please. Nope, that's the left. Right hind, thank you. Good girl. And now I'm going to ask her to move her left hind. No, I'm going to get the right. I want the left. There. Good girl. I'm going to move the right hind again. So left hind. Good job. Right, oh, no, wrong foot. Right hind, no, wrong one. There we go. And, oh, wrong one. Left hind, good. Now I'll move the left front foot to the side. Ready? There it goes. I'll step her forward just a smidge. And I'll back her up a couple steps. And now I'm going to ask her to move the right, there, good girl. And now maybe I'll ask the left front to move over there. I'm going to ask the right front to move over, over to the side. I could do that one a little bit better. So I just work on these until I feel like it's going really good. So there, good girl. But she tries so hard for me. I'm going to stop, do a little back up. I'm trying to use my body as much as possible with my back up. Good. Nice job. So now you can really see my lead rope here. Just going to fix that. I'm going to loosen. Actually, I'm going to take my pad right off. There's no reason for me to have it on. Okay, well, thank you for sticking with me. Holy cow, there's 130 people with us. That's crazy. That's maybe the most people I've ever seen. Well, no, maybe not, but I don't know. Most people that have watched, hi Stephanie, thanks for joining. Most people that have watched me ride my own arena, I guess. So I'm gonna walk her around a little bit. As you can see, she's still huffing and puffing. And she's, you know, like I said, she's out of shape. So, gosh, when I went on the treadmill and the other day and took my first run of the year, holy smokes, I was huffing and puffing. But you know what? That's what we need in order to lose some weight and get in shape, is to huff and puff. Now I'm really excited. I gotta show you guys this. I can't. Oh, you can't see it. Bummer. But you see all that sunshine coming in? That means that the snow is melted away from the windows. I'm so excited that we have sun finally. Jim says, or Rex says that clinics are next. I don't know, I don't know, we'll see. But, so, what I'm gonna do is we'll walk around here and talk for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna turn her loose and let her roll. And, hi David, thanks for joining. Oh, that's so scary when the snow falls against the arena. So that was a very, very, very simple, basic ride for a horse that's, she's relatively advanced, out of all the horses in my herd, she's fairly advanced. But I don't want to push her. I don't want to make it uncomfortable for her. So, and we all gotta just it's a building process, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither were good horses. So we got to make sure that we go through the process and do it right to prevent injuries and to make our horses so they enjoy their job. And she was really nice and soft in the halter today, so that's really good. I do ride in snaffle bits. I also use a Boselle, or some people call it a hackamore. I call it a hackamore. But so you'll see me ride in that often. That's my favorite thing to ride in. And this horse, I firmly believe in there being a graduation process for all different types of headgear. So if this horse were not at the level that she is, there's no way I'd be riding her in a halter. The only time that I ride horses in halters is when they are babies and I'm just starting them out. When I say babies, I mean like they're just getting started under saddle, so like 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, whatever. So I'll ride them the first few times in a halter because they don't understand what anything means anyway. And then once my horse understands basic, you know, like moving off my leg and bending, I need my horse to be able to tip their head each direction and bend at that axis, and, you know, break at the pole and stuff. I need them to be able to do that before I can ride them in a halter, because that's foundation work. So a lot of people, they don't understand that and they skip all those steps and they're like, oh, well, I ride in a halter. And it's fine if you just want to cruise around on the trail or anything like that. But if you want to like get some more advanced maneuvers done, thank you, David. That's so nice of you. Awesome. That's really cool. I can't say that I've ever made $80 riding my own horse in my own arena before. It's kind of funny. So I'm getting so close to being able to buy a microphone. And then what would be cool is you guys could hear me the entire time that I'm riding. I could explain what I'm doing, you know, if anybody wants to hear that anyway. But I'm getting pretty close to being able to purchase the items that I need, and I really appreciate that, you guys. Thank you so much. Every penny that is super chatted or PayPal to me is put directly towards doing that, so I can give you better quality content. So Nocona's looking, her little huffy puffy nostrils look a lot better. So, but like my horse Blossom, for instance, I really didn't ride her a lot over the winter. I kind of stick to riding barebacks. I mean, I rode her some, but not a lot. And then it was easier for me just to ride Nocona because, you know, she's at a level where I don't really have to think about much. Thank you, Lucy. Look at, here you are again. That's so awesome. Lucy just super chatted 20 bucks. That's so thoughtful of you. Thank you so much. But with Blossom, I really want to develop some things a little bit better with Blossom. I do ride Blossom in a halter as well, but she just needs a little bit more foundation work in a snaffle bit first. So I focused on just riding Nocona, and this horse needs riding. Look at that belly. So she needs as much exercise as she can get, and Blossom can get a little bit, you know, like where I really have to focus on her. So I can ride this horse and not have to focus on her as much. And I usually ride with kids. I've always got kids out here when I'm riding. It's just how it works. So Tara, we're at $101 today. That's so awesome. Thank you guys. But anyway, I'm going to be working with Blossom a lot now. It's warm enough. The reason I ride with a halter during the winter months is because it's so cold. And I actually did a video last year. Danny the horse girl and I did a video where we took frozen bits. Like we just took them right out of the tack room. They were clean, they're new, but we took them, I think it was like 10 or 12 degrees out, and we put these bits right in our mouths to see what would happen. And it was a very eye-opening experience for me. And you should go and watch that video. I think it's in my playlist that talks about tack and equipment. So go find that, where Danny and I put frozen bits in our mouth. But so for me, it's like, it's just easier for me to ride in a halter. So I choose the horses that I can ride in a halter throughout the winter. And I think it's more comfortable for them. But like today, I'm just riding a halter because I'm lazy and it's easy. And this horse does pretty darn well. So, you know, if it works, then that's great. But when I'm taking dressage lessons on her, working on more advanced stuff, then it's better for me to have a snaffle bit because I can accomplish those things better. Trail riding, heck yeah, I ride her like this on the trail, no problem. I'm not worried about, you know, not worried about anything there. Somebody just asked what I think about bitless bridles, and really, to me, it depends on the type. And everything that I've just said totally goes with that belief, okay? So I think that the way that I do it is I start horses in a halter, and then I move them into a snaffle bit. And when I say start them in a halter, I mean you're riding with one lead rope and the halter, and you're simply like there for the ride. You're not really using it to do a lot of directing, except for, making one, you can direct their feet in one direction. You toss it over their head, and then you direct their feet in the other direction. That's how I start them. And then moving on, doing all the foundation work in a snaffle bit. And honestly, I've really not personally, I would love to do some reviews on bitless bridles, so if anybody wanted to send me one to do a review on, I'd be all for that. But the ones that I've used and seen, I'm not a big fan of because they don't release pressure very well, or there's just too much pressure all the time on the horse. So there's some that were like a crossover style that I've used, and that a client of mine used for her horse, and I just didn't like it because you take a hold of the rein, and I felt like there was a drag in how quickly the horse got the release. And to me, the release is the most important part because that's how the horses learn. They're looking for that release. That's their reward. So very important to me. I do use a type of, I call it a side pull. It's this exact halter. I have my halters custom made by a gal more south from me. And she'll put rings in here for me. And then we connect the reins to the halter. And I use that a lot of times. I teach a ton of beginners, and I like to protect my horses' mouths. So there's times where I use those, for the riders until they get good with their hands, because my horses are very important to me, and I need to make sure that their well-being comes first. So, but I also have to say that with using the side pulls, some of the horses have realized that they can just drag a rider around. So I'll have somebody trying to keep, oh goodness, that was loud. I had too much coffee today, I'm a little jumpy. Nocona's in the same boat, she's jumpy too. So I'll have Muffin, for instance, will be going around on the rail, and Muffin will just decide that she's going to dive into the center of the arena, and the rider is not advanced enough to understand how to prevent that. And then they try to turn her, and she's just dragging them all over the place. And so a horse is only as good as its rider. And, I believe in using good quality equipment for your horse. And, yeah, and I believe that equipment is only as good as the hands that are using it. So it really doesn't matter what you've got on your horse. You got to be educated in how to use it. So, okay, let's answer some more questions here. Oh, I'm going to turn her loose. You guys want to watch her roll? I'll let her roll. I'm going to shut the door. Come with me, honey. So did you guys enjoy this? Do you think that I should do this with my other horses as well? Would that be helpful for anybody? Nocona she was born in 2007, I think. So she's 13 this year. Pretty sure 2007. So she's getting up there in age. So let's bring her over here and turn her loose. Can you guys see how that knot is? Okay. This is a correctly tied knot for a rope halter. Always tie your knots correctly. I'll have a video coming about that. There she goes. Okay, Nocona, show us your stuff. She's always really good at flopping down. Oh, here's that. Now I walked through it. I'll show you this real quick. See the shape on the ground right there with the circle right there? And then there's a pentagon around it. I walked through it. So you can't see like the nice lines, but you get the idea. So I like to leave those all over in the arena when I ride. I call it art. So it's a good way to know if you're getting them right. If you get the pentagon with the dot in the middle, that means you got it right. Well, come on, girl. See, now she's not going to roll because I said that she's good at it. So she's like, no, I'm just going to follow you around. well, that's boring. Okay, who has some questions? Because, yeah, clearly she doesn't roll on command. And leave it to a horse. If you say that they'll do something or don't do something, they're going to make a liar out of you. That's just what happens. So, no. So, David, you always want to tie the knot. The knot gets tied. Let me show you. Hold on, let me get the halter. This is a great thing for me to explain while we're sitting here waiting for Nocona to roll. She's got to. She hasn't been able to roll in the sand for weeks. I can't imagine that she's not going to roll. So, okay. Now, so here's our halter, okay? I'm going to turn it so, how can I do this so you guys can see it good? So I look at this as, this is the fence post, okay? This is the wire. You always wrap the wire around the fence post. So it's going to come on your horse. It's on your horse, can you guys see that? And it's going to come under and back up through. So I think maybe that's what you meant, is right above the knot. So yes, it gets tied between the knot and the loop. That's how to correctly tie a rope halter. And something, you know, people frequently, they tie it upside down like that. That is not correct. Okay, somebody asked, was just said is, what is the difference between a turnaround or a turn on the haunch and a turnaround? And basically it is very similar. I follow more of like the vaquero style way of going about it. And so it's not like reining horses turn totally different. And if you watch, a lot of times the hind feet move. My goal is to keep that outside hind planted. It's more of a, for like working cows and such, which I don't do, but that's, you know, I'm very passionate about that style, I guess. But I feel like they're using their whole body better and they're able to sit back and get around quicker to do a turnaround like that. Where a turn on the haunch, like for showmanship halter, I don't think that it necessarily maybe it matters which hind foot is staying put, but this is the way that I like to do it. So every organization or whatever you do is going to do it differently. So that's just the way that I follow to do it. Somebody else asked if I'm going to barrel race Nocona. No, she is the farthest thing from a barrel horse that you'll ever see. So she is more, she likes the dressage type work a little bit better. And she is not fast at all. There's not a fast bone in her body. So, and it's kind of, I really love to just get on a trail and just gallop and fly through the woods. I think that's super fun. I love that. But she doesn't have the heart to do that. She's like, I can do fancy stuff. I like to do fancy stuff and show off. That's more of her style. So I like to do that stuff with her. She has done the patterns and stuff before quite a bit, because there was a period of time where I did lease her out to one of my students, like when I was having my babies and stuff. So she did go and did everything, absolutely every event. So she knows all the patterns and she does it really good. So if Tova ever decided that she wanted to start, you know, doing stuff like that with her, she'd be great for her for that kind of stuff. I do ride her English and Western, bareback, you name it. We do a little bit of everything. And Cheyenne, you had asked, first of all, welcome Cheyenne. Glad you could join in. I will have merch on Lucky as well. So if you guys, today I'm not wearing one of my shirts. Yesterday I had a shirt on that had that had Nika on it. I have a great picture of Nika running that one of my students drew for me, and it's on some of my t-shirts. So if you go to my Teespring account, which is my online store, it's listed in the description below. You'll see that, and it'll take you to all my merchandise. And eventually I will have all of my horses available on shirts and bags and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun if you want to check it out, but that's where you'll find it. So I have a few of them up so far, but I'll definitely be getting one of all of my horses. So let's see. Any other questions before I sign out for the day? We're at a solid hour, so that's awesome. It was a great amount of time, I think, to fit all that stuff in. You want one with Miss Kitty on? Let's see, Amelia is the student that I have who does all of, Amelia is the student I have who does all the drawings for me, and I think she did Miss Kitty and Nellie, so I will have that. I will have that on that. Okay, so somebody else asked about treating lice, because we talked about that earlier. Lice, there's a treatment, there's a treatment for lice that I use, and I use ivermectin. Okay, and then every 3 days I dust them with a lice powder, and then 2 weeks after the first ivermectin treatment, I give a dose of ivermectin again. I'm trying to think of how it works. The ivermectin kills the biting lice, and the powder kills the eggs. That's how that works. Pretty sure but it's worked out really, really great. Would I breed Manser to the horse I just rode? Probably not. I don't know that body type. I don't think I don't know if I'm going to breed Manser anyway, but so with Nocona, I would breed her to a horse that is, more like a Frisian type, or like Arabian. Those would be really good crosses, or another Appaloosa, if I go foundation Appaloosa, if I ever bred her. So Frisian would give me more of more action, I guess, and that she already has such a beautiful arched neck that it would only emphasize it more, I guess. My concern is that belly, though. Like, if I got anything with too short of a back, it would really not be good. So I would almost want something with a little longer neck and a little longer back to sort of make it not so compact. So quarter horse probably wouldn't be what I'm looking for as far as if you breed a horse, you want to complement that particular horse. So you got to find a breed that complements them if you're going to do any crosses. Arabian would be nice because Nocona kind of has a big and blocky head. That would be a concern of mine with a Frisian as well. But an Arabian I have an Arabian stallion that I just love. I would love one of his babies someday. But he has a gorgeous head, and it would be a really nice complement, I think, to her. And add a little bit more refinement to that sort of blocky build. So those are my thoughts as far as breeding Nocona. Any other questions? Okay, so maybe I'll do another one of these in the next few days with Annabelle. I think that would be fun. Sharon, I'm not interested in breeding paints and Appaloosas. I think that gets too wonky. I like to stick to, like, breeding a paint to a quarter horse is different because it can still be registered into the Paint Horse Association. But, so like, Cinnamon is a paint horse. Breeding her to a quarter horse would be fine because it wouldn't get too weird in the association. But as far as breeding a quarter horse to an Appaloosa, it just really depends on the horse. It depends on what you're looking for. So for me, I'm not interested in that with this horse. Or we're not even talking about this horse, just in general, paints and Appaloosas. I don't know, there's just not an association. For Appaloosa. There's not an association that is for paints, breeding a paint to an Appaloosa. It would just be a grade no matter what. So Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that last question. How much is a stud fee with a free shot? I have no idea. Bye, Lottie. Thanks for joining. I really have no idea with that. Somebody asked if I would do a video on counter cantering. I actually do have one. And if you go to Nocona's playlist, you will find that video in her playlist. It was pretty recent. I did it over the last couple of months. So, Chewy, I think that's how you say your name, and I hope that you're the one that asked that question. So, but yeah, if you go to that playlist, you could find that. So, okay, so I'm getting requests for Annabelle to be the next horse that I ride, and I would love to do that. I adore Annabelle. She's pretty awesome, and maybe she'll be the next horse that I do for this. I think tomorrow's video, a lot of you guys have been emailing me and sending me some pretty awesome stories, and I absolutely love hearing about all of them. It's pretty cool to be able to put a little bit of information about you guys behind your comments. And so yesterday I did get an email from somebody that kind of really sort of touched my heart a little bit, and I feel the need to talk about her email. So I believe her name was Deborah. So Deborah, if you're watching, if you could watch tomorrow, I'm gonna talk about your email. It was enough where instead of me just responding, I want to tell everybody, because it was a great question, and it was something to really put some thought into. So I think that's going to be the topic of tomorrow's video, is to, well, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. I want you guys just to watch it, because I think it'll be a good one to talk about. So, okay, guys. All right, I'm signing out. I will see you tomorrow. Go enjoy the sunshine. Have a great day. Bye.